Thank you everyone for subscribing to Infinitely Productions. If you have not done so, please click the bell and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy our content.
There's guys out there, oh, the life did me dirty, and this did me dirty. This is what we agreed to. And you know, you're coming on the street, you know everything isn't going to be the right way all the time. There's a lot of treachery in it, no doubt. There's a lot of backstabbing. Same another thing. In corporate America, we see that. Except in that life, the consequences are a little bit more severe. That's the difference. But you know, I don't like to put the blame on anybody else, and they did this and that. I violated my oath. And I understood that I was going to face some trouble. And I did the bobbing and weaving and the things and, you know, make them believe with the government I was going to cooperate, but then I never did. You people know John Riggy, I'm sure, from here. Does everybody know that name? Okay. John and I were partners on a deal that we had in the city. I won't go into it. But when I was on parole, they picked me up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, took me to Newark, New Jersey. And they said, we're putting you on the stand. You're going to testify against John Riggy because they were one of the co-defendants on the Giuliani case that got convicted was in the middle of this deal with me and John Riggy, and he blew the whole thing up and put me and John involved in it. And they said, we're going to put you on the stand against Riggy. Well, long story short, I refused that night. I said, I'm not testifying, he's a friend. If you want me to testify, I will, but I'm going to clear him because I did this all, he didn't do it, and I had, you know, my case was done already. So, they put me back on a plane. Within 6 days, I was violated on my parole. That's how it happened. But I'll tell you this, the best thing that ever happened to me was that violation and put me back in prison because then everybody realized I wasn't there to hurt anybody. I'm not testifying against my former associates. That's not what it was all about. But it was a rough ride, I can tell you, throughout all of that. And I will tell you this, and I mean this, you take a good look at me. I'm probably the most blessed, most fortunate person that's ever going to stand up on this stage, because had I been left out to my own and followed the path that I was on and didn't really think this out, I could be dead or in prison for the rest of my life. There's no doubt about it, and I know that. And maybe that's what I deserved at that time. So, okay, I got to make a choice. So there, I beat them several times. After the Giuliani case, within a few months, they indict me on this whole gas case. The major witness on the Giuliani case against me was the major witness in the gas case. We destroyed him on trial in Giuliani. That's why I was acquitted. So now I went to my lawyer. I have leverage with the government. I beat their major witness. They want a conviction on me. I beat them 5 times. Let's take a plea. I'll do some time. I'll marry Camille. I'll give the government some money. When I get out of prison, I'll move out to California. I'll have parole and probation. Use that as an excuse not to meet with anybody. Maybe after 10 or 12 years, they'll forget about me. That was my whole thing. That's what I thought out. But it's not always goes the way you think it will, right? So I marry her in July. December, I take the plea. I think I said this already. 10-year sentence, $15 million restitution. I gave them the plane, the helicopter, the whole bit. You know, I go off to do my time. Told you what happened, did the 5, come out, and then violate and go back in. After the Riggy thing, go back in. The first night they put me in prison back, they said to me, Franzese, we're done with you. We're not going to ask you to cooperate anymore. We're finished. We violated your parole. We took every penny that you've got. We're indicting you on another RICO case. You will never see the street again. They bring me to MDC in LA, federal jail, ready to transport me back to Brooklyn in the morning to face the judge on the violation. And they put me in a hole. And people, I want to tell you this, I don't mind saying it, it was the worst night in my life. I was scared that night. I said, wow, another racketeering case? They took all my money? People, you don't beat these cases with a public defender. I spent millions defending myself. I said, they can't put me out on the yard. I said, they got all this nonsense going around me. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in this 6x8 cell. I said, my wife, how's she going to wait for me now? 27 years old, we got 2 little babies. I said, I'm going to lose the girl I did all of this for. I want to tell you this. I used to demean people that were suicidal. I called them weak. How do you not face up to your trouble? I don't do that anymore. Now, I wasn't suicidal that night. I wasn't that brave. But I said, man, I visited my father, 25 years in prison. I already did 5. I got to have this woman coming in to the vending machine, standing on line for 2 hours. I got to live like this, like an animal in a 6x8 cell for the rest of my life. I wanted to lay my head on that cot and just not wake up. That was my mentality at night. Just let me go to sleep. That was it. And I'm laying there, and I'm not going to get into all of this. This is not the time. But I'm laying there, and I was done. Prison guard walked by my cell. He opened up the flap. He said, Franzese, you okay? You don't look good. I said, man, get away from me. I don't want to see any of you guys tonight. Leave me alone. So he leaves, right? He comes back about 2 minutes later, and he pushes something through the slot on the door, falls on the floor, I hear kind of a thump. And I looked down. I was kind of groggy, and it was a Bible. And all I want to tell you is this. I spent 29 months and 7 days in confinement. And people, I'll tell you this, it's not easy. Isolation is not easy. I am dead set against that for young people because it could destroy them. I saw a lot of bad things go on down there with guys that just couldn't handle it. I don't knock them. It was tough. You know, I got through. And I came out of there a person of faith. You know, I am a Christian, certainly not perfect, but my belief is very, very strong. And I've been saying that around the world for the last 25 years. And I want to tell you how meaningful this is for me. When I walked out in '95, everybody predicted my death. You read the inside cover of my book, Blood Covenant. Guys, you want to read a mob story? I don't know if they have it here. If you want to read a mob story, it's a mob story. And ladies, you want to read a love story, it's a love story. A story about me and my wife, how we got together. But it's really how a life can be transformed. But read the inside cover. Everybody predicted my death. Life magazine, quote, if he holds to what he has promised, will mark the first time a high-ranking member of the mafia will publicly walk away from his past and live. Ed McDonald, head of the Organized Crime Strike Force, my prosecutor, he went on national TV and he said straight out, excuse me, if he holds to what he has promised, no, that was Life magazine. Ed McDonald said, I wouldn't want to be in Michael Franzese's shoes. I don't think his life expectancy is very substantial. Very diplomatic, you know, predicting my demise. Bernie Welch, the FBI agent, he wasn't diplomatic. He followed him to the podium and he said straight out, Franzese will get whacked. And I think you know what that means in street terms. My mother, God rest her soul, she said, I pray for my son every night. She was so worried, no one to talk on the street, and being married to my dad all those years. She didn't think I was going to make it. And that was in 1995. I told you in 1975, when I went into that room and took that oath, there was 6 of us. Today, I'm the only one alive. Not one of those men died of natural causes. All 5 of them were murdered. We had a war in our family. You probably know this. Columbo's 91 to 94. A bunch of guys got killed. I think 18 guys became informants. Another 63 went to jail for some period of time or another. And, you know, a little bit more proof that when you have a different plan in your life, things work out. You saw the Fortune magazine article, it was written in '86, 50 biggest and most powerful mob bosses in the country. Huge article. Half the magazine, they featured 6 of us. I was one of the 6. And they actually had a chart with the 50 of us on there, according to rank, wealth, and power. I was number 18, youngest guy on the list, 5 behind John Gotti. Gotti was number 13, he hadn't been made boss yet. And people, don't ask me how they make a list like that. It was ridiculous. They didn't ask for our tax returns. They threw names up there and whatever. It sold a lot of magazines, but it was stupid, believe me, like so many things they do. But I'll tell you what's not stupid about that list. Out of the list of 50 today, 30 some odd years later, 48 of those men are dead. Number 49, I believe, is still in prison. He's older than me. And number 50 is here tonight. So to say that I'm fortunate and blessed, thank you. It's really an understatement. And, you know, I'm very, very thankful for that. And honestly, people, and I don't mean this, believe me, I have my moments. And, you know, they always say this, you know, you can take the boy out of Brooklyn. You can't always take Brooklyn out of the boy. And I'll just give you one example. You know, I pulled into a gas station. I was driving, I had an SUV, and I pulled into the gas station to put gas in my car, right? So I get out, and I start to fill it up, and another guy comes in, and he's got an SUV too. He pulls in next to me, and he comes around to his car. He's about to put gas in there, but then he stands there. He's a little guy. He's this big, right? He's got his arm on the pump, and he looks at me and he says, "You left your car running." I said, "Oh, excuse me." I said, "I forgot." I go back. I turn the car off, right? My wife's sitting in there. And I come back, and here's the guy again. He's like this. I said, can I help you anymore? You know, what else you want? He said, why did you leave your car on? I said, I told you I forgot. You know, what do you want? He said, you forgot? I said, yeah, I forgot. He said, my 5-year-old daughter would give me a lame excuse like that. I said, oh, where's this guy going? I said, look, you didn't come here to talk to me. I said, why don't you put the gas in your car, go about your business, and so will I. Right? He looks at me, he goes, you know, you're a real blankety blank. He starts cursing me out. So I look at him, my first reaction, I want to pull the pump out, put the gas on him, and light a match. Right? That was it. That's Brooklyn stuff, right? Immediately. But I don't. I stopped. And I said, are we going to start something here? I said, go back in your car. I said, don't let this get out of hand. With that, his wife gets out of her car. She's standing on the running board, and she starts cursing me. You would have thought I was starting a nuclear explosion in a gas station. California's got a lot of crazy people out there. You really got to fight it sometimes. So he's still talking, and I turn around, and I'm putting the gas in my car, and I'm really good. And all of a sudden, okay, here's another car coming in. My daughter, Amanda. Right, these kids, they smell you when you're in a gas station. You got to fill everybody's car up, right? So she finds me in the neighborhood, and she's my real feisty one, right? She parks the car. She's seen that I was a little upset, and she starts walking towards me, chest out. Daddy, what's wrong? I said, Amanda, get back in the car. Daddy, what's wrong? I said, Amanda, get back in the car. If he would have said something to her, he was getting gassed. That was it. But fortunately, you know, I held it. And I'll never forget, I'm walking back and I'm saying, let me get this guy's license plate number. Maybe I'll catch him at Starbucks or sometime, whatever. But I don't do that either. When I get in the car, my wife said, what was that? I said, don't worry about it. Just keep it up, you know? So, you know, listen, you don't become perfect when you become a person of faith. You know, your faith is strong, but you still do some crazy things, and I do also. But anyway, that's it, people. I don't want to get too... I do want to say one thing. I don't know how many of you are from Atlantic City, but I will tell you this. Okay, you know, there's very significant things happen. I don't know if you know what happened, but back in 1929, the first major meeting of all of my former associates and colleagues across the country really happened here in Atlantic City. And a lot was resolved, and a lot was formed during that meeting. And everybody was there, from Luciano to Capone to Lansky to everybody. And I know a lot about this. I'll do it on YouTube. I'm not going to take up your time tonight, but we'll do it one day. But this is, in many ways, it was the birthplace of Cosa Nostra. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyway, that's the distinction. But thank you very much. Time for questions. Thank you. And I'm going to see some of you in the back later, right? Okay, great. All right, I think they got a microphone. I'll pass it around, and we'll get going.
If you have a question for Michael, please come up to the stand. Oh, come on over here.
We're on the spot.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.